Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. This is the video where we're going to be going over the big Street Fighter 6 patch, the mid-season update. There is balance changes for every single character in the game. Now, depending on the changes, like some are kind of big, some not so much, right? It's character to character. Some characters got big buffs, some characters got appreciable nerfs. So overall, there's definitely a lot more buffs than nerfs in this patch. And of course, as you would expect, we're going to be going through every single character and all the major changes. If you want the patch notes, they're in the video description, because like little adjustments or like bug fixes that don't really bear going into, well, we're not going to go into it. We're going to be highlighting the changes that really matter in this video. And of course, naturally, I have timestamps for you, so skip ahead to whatever character might spike your interest. Although if you do skip ahead, please leave a like. It actually does sincerely help the video. And that said, before we get directly into it, first, let's have a word from our FGC sponsor. Are you in the market for a quality yet affordable leverless controller for fighting games? Well, I got good news for you. With the help of our friends over at SGF Devices, if you use code ROOFLE10, you'll get 10% off everything store-wide. And one of the best things about SGF controllers is how customizable they are. You have full control over how everything appears on the controller. No extra work or modification required. Upload your pictures, make your choices, and that's exactly how it will arrive at your doorstep. Front plate, buttons, even lighting, everything is customizable. No need to fight, you can have the controller exactly the way you want it. So if you're in the market for a quality controller, why not check out SGF Devices? So now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the changes for all the characters, there is some generalized or just universal things I want to cover. So one of the things is sweeps. A lot of characters, not tons of characters, but a lot of characters had sweeps where like at absolute maximum distance, you can make it effectively mostly safe. A lot of those have been now tweaked, so you can't, right? So it's mostly universalized out. Sweeps, if they sweep, you block, you get a punish. Characters you can find being affected by this are people like Cammy, Bison, Akuma, Jamie, Ken. People with extra good sweeps, well, they're not extra good anymore. And of course, throw loops. We all love throw loops, don't we, right? So they made throw loops stronger. One of the things that was in the game, which was a rare concept that only a few characters could really make use of, they patched it out, and that is specifically jump canceling special moves. So the old throw loop, obviously the reason it works is because they're usually pretty frame perfect, so you can't mash out of them, you can't hit buttons, you can't do anything. That's not invincible. Or you could backdash or jump, because those are throw immune. However, one tactic which has existed in other Street Fighter games, this is not new in any way, shape, or form, but one tactic was you could cancel your pre-jump frame into a special move, and then you count it as jumping, and thus the throw kind of misses you, and then the special move goes off. Zangief has more pre-jump frames than other characters because he has a 360, so for him it was a valid way to escape throws. So they took that away from everybody, right? Not many characters could realistically use it much, but Zangief was one of them, so you gotta nerf Zangief somehow, right? So what happens now is this. So whenever a throw connects with somebody that happens to be in some way, some form airborne, the active frames of the throw get extended. So normally a throw only has a few active frames, usually 3 active frames. And this is only normal throws. This does not count for command grabs, FYI. So Ryu is throw looping us here, and you can see when he throws, he has 3 frames active. But if we jump it, then you can see it gets extended. Now you can see 8 frames it was active for, right? And each one of those active frames is checking, is he still airborne? Is he still airborne? Is he still airborne? And, you know, at any point did they get canceled into like, you know, a grab or something like that, right? And the second he's back on the ground grabbing you, that's when the throw goes off and, well, throws you. So yeah, once again, this was a technique that existed in lots of other Street Fighters. In this game particularly, it's a very difficult to do technique. Even if, you know, you practice it, you can still botch it most of the time. It's hard. And they decided it was too much, and they took it away. So the few characters that could do something like this to escape a throw loop, they can no longer. Glory to throw loops. Long live throw loops. To note, characters that can use instant air attacks to help get around that kind of stuff one way or another, be it like Chun instant air legs, Cammy instant air dive kick, all that kind of stuff, that still works just fine. It's only that one specific trick that got nerfed. So Luke got some fun stuff. Forward heavy punch got a range increase. So you can now like have a reason to use it over stand heavy punch basically. So hey, specifically, say we go for this range here, stand medium, whiff. All right, it hits. It did not hit before. Hopefully I'm playing the other footage from the patch beforehand, right? So yeah, no, it's not gigantic, but it'll hit from ranges it couldn't before. So you have another tool, neutral. Other fun tools, target combo, crouch medium kick into crouch heavy punch is now +2 on hit from +1. More advantage, more better. Luke medium flash knuckle, either full charge or the perfect version. Either or, doesn't really matter. No longer causes advanced scaling. So normally the second hit would put you at 80% scaling immediately, right? Now, well, it doesn't. So that means basically any, core B&B combo structure you can think of involving it, which is a lot of them, right? You're just going to be doing more damage across the board and basically be doing like a few 100 points more damage per combo. There's a lot to love there. More damage, like you win games by doing damage, right? So doing more damage on a lot of your core B&Bs, that's definitely a big help. Also Flash Knuckle, the uncharged version now is -8 on block from -10. So say you don't get, the combo, you drop the combo, whatever they block. Now you can maybe not die as hard, or, if you want to use it in neutral too, it's not the worst tool to use in neutral. So it's just safer on block. That's nice. And of course, we're bearing the lead here. So let's talk the big fun change. So EX Sandblast has that follow-up, right? That follow-up now wall splats anywhere on screen. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter how close or how far. It will always wall splat the enemy, and that's really fun. Since it wall splats, well, a lot of the immediate applications are kind of obvious, right? Because you can combo after wall splats. So there's new options for just generic combos, new potential Oki, given different knockdown setups now. Now keep in mind as well, this is level 3 cancelable, right? So it doesn't matter too much with the mid screen because the screen keeps moving, but in the corner, that means you have a very devastating reaction check, right? Because this is very fast, obviously destroys other projectiles. So you can be basically full screen, and if you catch them, the wall splat keeps them in place, you'll get the level 3. So watch out about throwing a fireball against Luke in the corner, because he can rip a good chunk of your life off. So that's a very interesting change. So Luke's not going to top 1 or anything with this patch, but just a little bit of neutral, new opportunities with expanded use of EX Sandblast. I think it's pretty fun. So Jamie, not lots of changes, but some interesting ones. Starting with jump heavy kick. Now, no matter how you hit the enemy, will always cause a float state. No, normally, especially on normal hit, right? If I caught them air to air with jump heavy kick, they would flip out in the air. So safely. You may notice they're not flipping out. So now they're juggled okay if I catch you air to air. So that just helps his general game. He'll get more damage opportunities. He can do more things. So that's nice. That's good quality of life to get more opportunities off an air to air call out. The other change to note is when you drink now, you gain some drive gauge. So when you were level 4 drinks before, then you would also gain drive gauge because, technically there's no more bonus, right? And now you just get that regardless. You'll always get some drive gauge when you get a drink in. So it's not like gigantic, but you can't argue against it. Like it's strict benefit. It is strict buff. Like this is something you gotta do anyways. So you might as well get some free drive meter out of it, right? So drink away. Specifically, at least for the drinks. Like stuff like the Rekka chain where you end on the drink. That last drink gives a really good chunk of meter. Like it's like almost half a bar by itself. So like various drive rush combos, like effectively it kind of pays for itself. And maybe even a little bonus with the drive, right? So play around with it. Like it's decent. Some other little things like some of the target combos like forward heavy kick, back heavy kick, forward heavy punch, the headbutt. That has this range extended a little bit here. So I'm sure there's going to be some more opportunities to make use of it. And Jamie has a lot of little adjustments where like various moves, people are going to be less likely to drop out during combos. It's all in the patch notes if you want to read it. But yeah, He's not going to shoot up the tier list or nothing, but it is nice quality of life changes. So Manon, one change out of the gate is stand heavy kick's not negative on hit anymore, which is always a silly concept in a fighting game. So it is now +1 on hit, meaning if you do it, say, off a drive rush, it's now +5. And then Bob's your uncle, you can actually like link a stand jab after the fact. The punish counter version is not changed. That's still the same. But for this, the base hit, it's advantage on hit. And now in other situations, if you were to land like a drive rush or whatever, you can get more additional frames and thus potential combo ability you didn't have before. Now, one very interesting change is they're doubling down on the medal system. So obviously, you know, command grab, you gain medals, hit grab, you gain medals, sure, that's still the same. But what's different now, if you recall, the last patch, they changed it up so like the level 3 did more damage based on your medals. So now for both the command grab and also for the hit grab, based on your medal level, you gain more super gauge. So here's how this works. Say level 1 or 2 command grab, you gain 3,000 units of super meter. Starting at level 3 and level 4, you gain 4,000 units of super meter. So now, as you can see here, that exactly brought us to 1 bar. Every 1 bar is 10,000 units, right? So 3 plus 3 plus 4, hey, that's 10, right? So that exactly built us 1 bar. So now we're at level 4, right? Here's a fun thing. So starting at level 5, your command grab now builds 5,000 units. So say you're at level 5, you would get a full bar off 2 command grabs. So almost double the meter gain at level 1 or 2. So like you're still gonna grab anyways, you have to, this is the character, but you're now rewarded for grabbing the characters more at higher medal levels. You just simply get more super meter, much the same with the hit grabs. So level 1 or 2, you get 2,150 units of super meter. Level 3 or 4, you get 3,150 units of super meter, so just more super. And at level 5 hit grab, you gain 4,150 units of super meter. So basically, once you start dunking people, hit grab or command grab, and your medals are high, you're gonna get to your cool super faster, and synergy being synergy, right? Hey, remember how it got buffed, right? So you need more medals, more damage. So basically, you're gonna get to level 3 supers faster overall. That's the big ones. Some other quality of life, spin kick. You now go just a little bit less far, so you'll always get quarter circle back medium kick. Depending on how it hit and the distance, sometimes you could be left at such a range that you would just actually whiff no matter what. So since it now just leaves you just a smidge closer, it'll always connect no matter what. That's nice. But speaking of spin, the other big quality of life is now just empty spin. Regardless of what you're doing here, now it recovers 2 frames faster, making it actually better at the job it's supposed to do, which is spinning through fireballs. Now that you recover a couple frames faster, maybe you actually might get a punish, or at the very least have a more advantageous situation, which was harder for her. Like if you spin through like a sonic boom, you know, you didn't feel very smart for doing it, because now you're just that much closer to Guile at like negative frames, right? So hopefully this will make things better for Manon. Besides that, a few drive gauge changes, like this target combo builds just a little bit more drive gauge. Heavy kick, wheel kick also builds a little bit more drive gauge. But besides that, like, this is quality of life. You're going to do the game plan you're going to do anyways, but you're now rewarded for it more, basically. You'll gain more super meter, and you'll get a devastating level 1, 2, or 3 super that much faster. And ideally, this will help her win games. So Kimberly has a host of interesting changes, some smaller, some, well, we'll get into it. So out of the gate here, crouch light punch, now -1 on block, used to be -2. Crouch light kick is now +4 on hit, used to be only +2, so good frame data changes. Forward heavy kick now has a range increase. Specifically, it hits from round start now. It did not hit from round start before, so it's strictly more range. Also gains more drive gauge on hit. Also, the hurt box has been heightened, so she can actually go over things that are lower to the ground, like what you think it could. So now it actually works that way. Slide got some interesting changes. A very important one is if you hit early on, you're always advantage. Before, if you hit early on, you're negative. You lost your turn, dummy. Like, you're kind of punished for actively being correct and getting the slide off, right? So now if it hits, no matter what, you'll always be plus. It's that simple. So that makes it a lot more useful. And also it is less death on block. It's still kind of death on block's -5, but it used to be -9 on block. So you won't eat a big boy punish, you'll eat a smaller punish. Stand heavy punch, which is a pretty decent button for. It got a fairly significant range increase. So highly scientific, I know, but if you mash it, it would take 8 mashes from neutral round start to get there, right? Now, it only takes 5. 3, 4, 5, boom. So you can say it goes like 30% farther or something like that. I don't know, it's not hard science, right? But it certainly goes further. And you know, it's a move that's you gotta use anyways. So it going further for the same frame data, the frame data is not changing. That's nice. Now here's another fun change. So run. Obviously Kim does a lot of things from her command run, right? The run itself is now 2 frames faster for both versions. So regular run, like say if we just went into the version that just runs off the enemy, right? That'd be 21 frames. Used to be 23. EX run, 19 frames. That used to be 21 frames. So everything's faster across the board. So to give you an interesting example why this matters. So it can certainly affect her pressure. So before, if I went stand medium punch into run, well, characters could just jab out of it. They could take whatever 4-framer they got, jab me out of it, I'm done. Now though, so same idea, I'm gonna jab on block right now, because it's 2 frames faster, becomes a counter hit. So there's gonna be a lot of scenarios where the run now will not let you mash out. Like before, you could mash out and beat Kimberly, now you can't. And it's also going to create a lot of true block strings in Burnout, where they have no consequence other than to accept it because it's going to happen. So that's a very interesting buff to the run. It just makes run pressure in general a lot stronger. So quarter circle forward light punch. Patch ago or so, it got changed that if you hit it on the later end frames, you could then get a combo. And you know, nice little buff, right? So now it has less pushback and the hit reaction is a little bit different. Depending on how it hits, sometimes like you'd go for like, you know, stand light kick or something, right? Sometimes at the most extreme ranges, it would still whiff anyways, even if you correctly got it. Now, it's just very easy to assess with the new hit reaction as well. Okay, did I get it? Cool, going to combo. So it just makes it that much easier to hit confirm. The frame data is a little different now. It's -4 on block now from -5. So point blank, well, -4. From the distance you want to use it at, that means -2. But yeah, so decent little quality of life buff. This interesting changes for Kimberly. A bare minimum, just slide always being plus means like drive rush slide is going to be better because you can always guarantee you're going to be +5 or better depending on when it hits on the active frames. And because it's much better on block, that means you're only ever going to be -1 versus before it would still be punishable on block off a drive rush, right? And the other quality of life stuff, like it's not be all end all, but it's nice. Now, Marisa, these are not small quality of life changes. Marisa got a lot of changes and they're quite significant. So let's just kind of start at the start here. So obviously you probably know she's very famous for charging various normals. You hold the button, you get a better version of the move, right? A lot of these just got literally better. Charge heavy punch, charge heavy kick, charge crouch heavy kick, and charge down forward heavy punch, that's the overhead. They're all 3 frames faster. And that's gigantic. Like, these are moves you use, like a heavy kick especially. This is one of her biggest breadwinners ever since Season 2 became a thing. So this move is all about just getting the big whiff punish, right? And if it's 3 frames faster, that means you're going to get that whiff punish more often. It's going to miss less. Like, that's huge. Stand heavy punch being 3 frames faster, where does that matter? Oh, that combos now. What? And not only does that combo now, they changed it so the follow-up combos as well. So that means that's kind of the max damage option, really. Like the Oki or whatever, it's not going to be great, like, but you're going to do more damage than Sparta Kick because you're getting both the punches in at the same time, right? Like it's 2100 damage versus 14, like do the math, right? You're just going to get more damage. Also, they changed how charge heavy punch works as a juggle. So if you don't do the follow-up, for example here, you can land the level 2 super. So like once again, new combo routes, more potential. And like stuff like charge heavy kick hitting earlier, crouch heavy kick, that changes your frame data. You're plus 46 now instead of plus 43. I'm sure you can make something happen there. The overhead, hey, the follow-up now knocks down on hit. It did not knock down before. You have a healthy little splat. Also, if you landed in the combo, because now it's a proper knockdown, right? It's 31 frames of advantage. It used to be 21 frames of advantage. So Oki's better. And we're only talking about this stuff, right? Let's keep going. Like all the charge stuff is good. Once again, if it was just heavy kick alone, that'd be huge. Everything else is just a bonus, but let's keep going. Regular and charged heavy punch also has slightly expanded hitbox. Phalanx, our big Superman punch, also has an expanded hitbox. You may notice I'm like round start position here, and I'm connecting. Normally, light never connected from this far away. Now it does. Also, it has 3 more active frames. So it has 6 active frames total now from 3. And like the duration of the move isn't extended or anything. So it's just literally bonus active frames and reaches from further away. So there we go, right? That right there connected, it would have missed before because I connected on the 4th active frame. So basically just making the move better. Here's another fun one, forward heavy kick. So forward heavy kick now also has an improved hitbox. It'll hit from just slightly further away than it did before, the charge version. That's nice, right? And of course, you know, it's always good because, like, you know, if it hit, well then, hey, free combo, like, very easy to hit confirm. But now, on block, it has less pushback. So here, this is the old patch. If I was point blank, you know, I have my frame advantage on block, sure, but, like, I couldn't throw you or whatever, right? I couldn't get that strike throw mixed in. Now, though, we look a lot closer. Can I land a throw? You betcha. So now the prospect of charge forward heavy kick just got 10 times more terrifying. Because if it hits full combo, great, whatever, but we can't always anticipate that. But if it's blocked, we still have those advantage frames, but now we're directly beside you and we can truly enforce guess strike, guess throw. Because you're always +3 after the fact. So at minimum, hey, throws are 5 framers. If you mash, my throw will win. And of course, if I hit a button, I'm gonna win because I'm +3. So that's just a basic building block of strike throw, and now it just works that way. It just works that way. That's gigantic. And of course, like if you're going silly, like, you know, drive rush, forward heavy kick charge, right? +7. Then, you know, we can start getting like the command grab into the conversation, all that kind of stuff. Like, this is really, really nice. Other changes, maybe not as big, but crouch heavy punch, if it hits as a punish counter, regular or charge, now launches a lot higher. If you're in the corner, you can land 3 of these bad boys in a row now. Like, definitely could not do that before. They fixed the bug that certain characters could low profile her EX armor. You can't do that anymore, right? Like, that's the bug fix, really. But like, these are some changes of note. These are not just quality of life. Like, these are significant buffs. Marisa is doing very well this patch. You know, her defense still sucks, sure, like, but she's meant to be the overwhelming offense character, and the offense is getting more overwhelming. She's stronger in neutral. Her pressure is going to be better. This is nice stuff. Lily. Hey, she's the new #1, because I think she's now the worst character in the game because Honda got some really good buffs, and I think he left Lily in the dust. But yeah, let's go over it. Crouch light punch is now +6 on hit, meaning it's the exact same as stand light punch. So that means, you know, some of the classics that would work with stand light punch now work with crouch light punch. So there you go, that's nice. The target combo, there's a lot of words there that say a lot of things, but here's what it comes down to. The first hit's now +2 instead of +1. The whole string itself does more damage, which, you know, is not nothing. Last hit does 800 now, it used to be 500. And I don't know, it says the combo count's better. I've not really found any new uses for combos yet. If you know one, by all means, please post in the comments below that didn't already exist. But it just does a bit more damage now. That's kind of it. Now, there is at least one change that's decent. Like, actually will change the game plan. You'll see it in actual matches. So the old Windclad stock. Windclad Stock Light Tomahawk Buster specifically now launches higher and launches closer, as in knocks them less far away. So in certain strings, where you would hit the opponent with like the tail end of it, so now without the need to the corner or any fancy tricks, you can get follow-ups mid-screen. So you can land super mid-screen. She has the most damaging level 1 super in the game. So that's all right, right? Like, it gives you new combo routes, more potential, especially off just plain lights, to get like decent chunk of damage in. That's always been the problem, is especially in season 2 when they start nerfing lights and how damage scaling off lights work. She really needs light combos, and that hurt her more than the average character. So now stuff like this being a thing where she can just now get juggles off this, that helps out a good bit. Now to get a lot of these, you specifically have to hit on the later part of the move. If you hit too early, if you do like say the regular double hitting strike, none of this is gonna work. Like, it's all predicated on the fact that you hit it much later into the move, which also means it will not work on crouchers ever. It will whiff on crouchers, but them's the breaks. But you can do some fun things with it, like you can also combo in the sweep. That's different. You don't need the corner, you don't need drive rushes. An interesting one that was shown to me by Lord Dream King of Event Hubs fame. Shout out to Event Hubs, I love Event Hubs. So, you can also get Crouch Heavy Punch here. So, take a string here, land the move, Crouch Heavy Punch connects. And then from there, because it forces an air flip out, you can do a medium Condor Spire, like cancel Crouch Heavy Punch in the medium Spire. And the way it works, you don't even need a stock or whatever. They have to land blocking it very meaty, and you're just +2 out of the gate. Unless you commit to that super, she's not going to get much off the lights anyways. So you might as well create a scenario where you can get a lot of plus frames and, you know, start threatening grabs or whatever. And another fun thing, say, you know, they're going to parry bait it, right? Because that's an option they have. They can parry bait it. You Crouch Heavy Punch into Light Spire, just land in their face. They parry, boom, guaranteed command grab, go for whatever, right? So there's something there in that specific setup, but that's about it. Lily did not get much this patch compared to some of the other characters that are struggling. Maybe season 3, maybe Super Street Fighter 6, we'll see, but right now this isn't Lily's patch. Now JP, the last patch got the world. You got a lot, so now they're playing it safe, but you did get basically one change in note. So level 2 super, you know, it's a good one, right? All the crazy ghosts come out, do their thing. So one thing about this is specifically, if you got someone with a throw, because, you know, they'll try to parry during it, and you get the punish counter, the ghosts would disappear. Now, the ghosts do not disappear. So if you do this, and you get a punish counter throw, the ghosts are still there, and they will combo after that throw. So it's always a scary situation to be in regardless, honestly, but now if you get caught, like, you really got caught. You're going to take some extra damage. You're going to take that throw, and you're also going to get comboed after the fact. So the situation is just that much scarier. Nice little change. Juri, another character like JP, didn't really do too much. The only real change of consequence is Crouch Heavy Punch. It now has a punish counter reaction if done against an airborne opponent. It did not before. So you have potentially new combo routes. Playing around with it's really all I can say at the moment. Like, I am no Juri player. But you can get new things off it you couldn't get before. So by definition, new opportunities have to open up. See what's out there. So Dee Jay, very much in the quality of life changes category, but still nice. So just one of them, up kicks. So medium and heavy up kicks both have the active frames just enhanced by 1. Also heavy up kicks specifically, it now has a new hitbox that's only against airborne people, so it won't change combo structure. But when it's used as an actual, you know, anti-air, the hitbox is now much higher up than it was before, meaning scenarios where like the first hit might miss, and then, you know, you kind of botch the anti-air, right? Now that will hit. So just basically, it is now a more reliable anti-air attack, and that is always nice. Also, continuing from the buff from the last patch. So back sway, medium kick, the overhead. Now, when done as a punish counter, it's just better yet. So the regular non-EX version, they changed how the blowback works, so it's just basically more reliable, heavier hits. So you can get up kicks, heavy up kicks off that pretty easily. And a fun one here, the EX version specifically. So this doesn't need no punish counter or anything like that, right? But they relaxed the combo rules on this one. So now you can do things like double Sobat kicks. You could not get those before. That would just whiff, right? So you now have more combo potential off of it. So basically that means new combo routes. Play around with it, see what you can get, you know. 3,400 off crouch heavy punch. That's not bad. Also leads to decent Oki after the fact. So I don't know. There's stuff to play around with. Not a lot of changes, but it's nice. They're solid changes. Okay, here we go. Play the funeral march. Cammy's dead. Well, maybe not so much. Is Cammy worse off? Yes. I've been seeing a lot of hyperbole on the internet, like this character is dead. I don't believe that for a second. Cammy's still a very strong character, but let's go through the nerfs here, which are long overdue in my opinion. So first off, you may recall the old EX reversal, right? And it did fun things like switch side. So, you know, I reverse you while I'm in the corner. Now you're in the corner. Yay, fun. Not anymore. So now it just works like a regular old reversal. I knock you back. You know, I still got you off my back and all that kind of stuff, but we're not swapping sides on top of me actually getting the reversal on that, right? So it's more normalized compared to a regular character. Now, one that you'll feel probably, crouch medium punch, which is a very ignorant button. So it now has more recovery. So it used to have 14 frames of recovery and now has 17 frames of recovery, meaning simply you can be punish countered for 3 frames longer than you could before. Also, the hurt box, meaning the part where you could hit her, is now expanded forward. So on frames 10 through 26, and now it is just simply that much easier to hit her. Simple as that. That's only when she misses though. Only when she misses. But basically, if you're looking for whiff punishes, it is now more reasonable to actually whiff punish this like a normal character could, right? No more the land of privilege. Other things like stand heavy kick now barely has any pushback. Like it's not punishable, even point blank wouldn't be punishable, but now it is more defined that if it gets blocked, it is more the enemy's turn now. The button still has all the properties it has. It's still a good button, but now like you gotta chill a little bit if you get blocked. And now EX dive kick. And this is a change that only affects dive kick if dive kick hits on the first frame. So if you're using it like, you know, quote unquote normally, nothing has changed. But if you're using, say, like, you know, tiger knee dive kicks or something like that, where it hits like very low to the ground, hits on the first frame, this is where it's different. So change number 1, if it hits on the first frame and first frame only, it is now 0 on hit, meaning it is not your turn. You're both completely neutral. So before it would have been at least minimum +2, and that's no longer the case. Now it's still very useful because if you use it to, like, you know, call out a throw, you're getting throw looped or something, it'll still hit punish counter, and if it hits punish counter, it's still +4, meaning you still get jabs, you still get combos. That's it. Like, you have to actually get the actual read now. If you didn't, there's really not much to it. So definitely a nerf, but there's a silver lining here. If it hits on the first active frame, it is now always -2. Depending on how it hit on block, it could technically be punishable at like very specific angles. So now it's always -2 no matter what. So you lost your turn, sure, but there's no potential punish coming your way. So basically you have to use it as designed. Either you use it like, you know, while jumping properly, and in which case absolutely nothing has changed. And if you're using it to like scam people trying to throw you, if you caught them trying to throw you, you still get a combo. But otherwise, if you get the hit, nothing's guaranteed, basically. So there you have it, right? Crouch medium punch is a little bit worse if you miss. And EX dive kick is a little bit worse if you're specifically using the tiger knee version of the move. And I guess you can't swap sides in the corner as easily anyways. So you can still do it, just not with that EX reversal. So yeah, is the character ruined? I don't think so. Is she brought down to the realm of the mortals a little bit? Yeah. So, you know, if your friends drop Cammy over this, you got my permission. Feel free to make fun of them. Now, Ryu. Ryu's got some pretty big changes. Now, the first one of which is, I gotta ask you a question. Are you over 40 years old? If so, I got your favorite change right here. And that is the old crouch medium kick into the fireball. I'm talking the Street Fighter 2 classic, my friends, here. So, crouch medium kick fireball got a buff. Specifically, you can special cancel crouch medium kick, and this is any special, it doesn't have to be fireball, but you can special cancel anything from crouch medium kick 2 frames faster earlier into the move than you could before. Meaning, at the range you want to use it at, it means there is no longer a gap when you do crouch medium kick into heavy fireball. Beforehand, there was a gap. And that means if you knew someone was going to go for it, you could mash anything invincible, a reversal, a super, a drive impact. It didn't matter. If you knew they were going for it, you can just jam on the buttons and you would knock Ryu out of it. Now, as it stands, this is now truly and well guaranteed. There's no way out of it. Mash DI as much as you want. It is not going to work out. You can't get it. Now, you can still get it if you go for, say, like the medium or light fireballs, but you may notice here, I blocked. Before, you wouldn't have been able to block. It would have been a guaranteed punish counter. If you choose to leave a gap here with light or medium fireball, you can now DI back versus guaranteed punish. And if you don't want to give them a gap at all, crouch medium kick into heavy fireball is gapless now at all ranges. Before, it was just kind of closer where it could be unsafe. Now at max range, which is what you want, it's completely gapless, so you can play proper Ryu again. So that's a fun change, but let's try some more fun changes. Forward heavy kick. You may recall earlier on another patch, they changed it so it can go into EX air hurricane kick. Still works the same, but it now goes into regular air hurricane kick as well. So you do not have to commit to the bar, you do not have to spend the meter. That's interesting. All the more interesting yet is its combo ability has been kind of upscaled a bit. So say a situation like this where we go like into EX donkey kick does the wall bounce, right? So before, forward heavy kick can never connect. Now, well, now it absolutely can connect and combo. So now we have all new combo routes. This move can juggle with airborne enemies in ways it never could before. So it remains to be seen what every new combo can potentially be, but well, there's just simply more combo ability now in situations where there never was before with this move. It's cool. Speaking of cool, who likes more damage? EX Hashugeki does more damage again. It got a damage nerf a while back. Now it does more damage again. So it does 1100 damage now. Used to do 900. So rewrite your combo routes. You can probably squeeze in a couple more damage points somewhere. Now, heavy high blade kick, aka heavy donkey kick. This got a buff where it didn't really need one, to be honest with you, but take what you can get. So, the move is now 27 frame startup. It used to be 29, so it hits 2 frames faster than it used to. That's nice. You could already sort of use it in neutral anyways, because like the range is very extreme, which is cool. And all the better yet, in neutral, it's now less disadvantage on block. So, point blank, it is now -3. Used to be -5. So point blank, it was punishable. Now it's not. And of course, using it in neutral, probably not going to hit point blank. It'll probably hit somewhere later in the active frames. And right there, you see it's +1. +1 from this far away doesn't matter, but still, you get the idea, right? So it's just better on block to boot. Given that it has 2 frame faster startup, I don't believe it comboed from stand heavy punch counter hit before. Now it does. And it might find new situations to combo with the faster startup it didn't have before. But basically, the move is just strictly better. Like, if you're going to use it as a poke, it's literally faster, safer on block. What's not to love? So the classical Ryu game plan that's been going strong for over 30 years is now better in this version of the game. We got some more combo ability and more options now with forward heavy kick. We got a better donkey kick and heavy donkey kick. There's just a lot to like here. It's nice. Honda fans, I think there might be some cause for celebration here. So if you remember previously, many people, myself included, were excited about a lot of the Honda buffs that he got in the last patch, the Season 2 patch. But in exchange for that, they sort of crippled Headbutt. Like, Headbutt, it got, safer on block technically, but it lost the pushback and all the cool spacing traps that you could do with it, right? Like, if you blocked Headbutt, you were in a world for hurt, because, like, If you dare hit a button, Honda might blow you up. So we gained stuff, we lost stuff. But now that specific spacing trap stuff has returned to us, where Honda can safely walk out at any button they press, and maybe if he hits the button back, he'll blow you up. So let's talk about this first. Stance, punch. So it now pushes back further. Now you might notice here, this is the old build. Okay, that's how it looked like before. And here's how it looks like right now. Now this doesn't look like much, but. Now here this is the pre-patch from round start, and notice the first hit doesn't even connect, right? Now here we are on the current build, and the first hit does connect from round start. So the first hit got wildly more range, and now combined with that increased pushback, you can see here, there is no possibility of the opponent, even though we're technically -3, there is no possibility at this range for anyone to jab check us and we can just walk back out. You see here, they press a button, walk out, we're good. And then, maybe we hit a button back, right? Now, it's not infallible. Certain moves of, certain characters that, are in a privileged class, they can still check you, right? That's life. But at the very least, if they're doing a slower long-range move, now you can jab check them. So that's something. Basically, Honda has spacing traps back again. That was like the real big loss. And, obviously just, random headbutt neutral. That was a lot of the neutral. Let's call for what it is, right? And now you have another move that can be a replacement. You still have good buttons, stand, medium punch. That buff was everything. That's what Honda is now, is stand, medium punch, the character. But now you have viable alternate moves to do mid-screen that don't just make you lose your turn in front of the opponent's face. So that's great. And also, enhanced version got a big buff. So the enhanced version now is always +3 on block. Used to be +2. That's nice. It also pushes back less. Meaning, unless done at absolute max range, you can be in regular throw distance. But guess what? Even if you're not in regular throw distance, you are certainly in command grab distance, and command grab got a buff. So command grab used to be 7 frames, is now 6 frames. And if we go back, wait a second, 6 frames +3 on block. Oh, given that the fastest normal is 4 frames, if you block the stance hands at all, that means you are immediately in a guess command grab, guess strike situation. There's no two bones about it. Because he'll always be able to reach with his command grab. And this is heavy too. This isn't like light or anything. You will get the damage in. So it makes the threat just something as basic as like stand medium punch into EX stance slaps much more dangerous. Because if you block, okay, you're in the 50-50 guess. Like which one am I going for? And if it connects, well, it connects and you just go for like get your damage in, right? But yeah, so he now has a better neutral tool, a better pressure tool in both like spacing traps for the regular version and being so plus on block he can force a strike throw mix up with the EX version. So Honda is doing really good here. Also, with this being 6 frames now, against say a drive reversal, he now has an actual punish against a drive reversal because drive reversals are -6. Everyone could punish a drive reversal. It's just that Honda's options were very poor before. And now say if you do EX Ocho grab, you get over 3,000 damage. So that works. Honda can now just stop it. Like he won't get his tiddlywinks damage. He'll make you feel it if he blocks a drive reversal. We got more fun things too. Stand heavy punch when done point blank is now +1 on hit. It used to be -1 on hit. What does that mean? Well, before you can go like stance launch. That was fine. But now you don't need to EX it. It's just a natural combo. So before you would go stand heavy kick first hit, then go into it, right? Now you don't need that. You can just get the regular hit and it all works the same. Meaning in all the same scenarios where you'd use the first hit of heavy kick, you can now use this heavy punch and you'll do all the same combos and they'll all do more damage across the board. So situations like I land a raw jump in. Okay, they do our launcher, but now I can just do this, just get more damage. It's really good, especially with like stop sign, right? Did I land stop sign? Cool, heavy punch, launch. No, like you can still burn bar. Like you get an appreciable damage bonus if you burn bar. Like, Don't take it off the table, right? But now you don't have to burn bar to get it off that. Also, it changes a lot of your B&B routes because like medium punch, drive rush, medium punch is a thing. And that goes into heavy punch, which means like, these are combos you're doing anyways, and now you're just going to get more damage. 3,093. Before, if you want to do, you know, something similar, it would have been 2,750. So we're getting like 250 more damage for the thing we're going to be doing anyways. That's nice. Here's another great quality of life change. So say this scenario here. And you're going to look at this and like, well, it's projectile invincible. What changed? And like, yes, okay. It's projectile invincible in the part where Honda travels. But the second he hits you, he loses projectile invulnerability before. This is what it looked like before. If you called Rashid out on his level 2, you would get punished for it, even though you successfully hit him. Because there was no projectile invulnerability after the initial hit. Now projectile invulnerability for his level 2 headbutt is throughout the duration of the move. So it makes it much more valuable. So slightly better combos, better neutral, better pressure, both on regular hit and on EX hit. He gains access to a true guest strike, guest grab, 50-50. He can deal with drive reverse better. Like, I'm not saying he's top anything. Like, trust me, he's not. But I don't want to oversell it because, you know, I'm not impartial about Honda. If you know this channel, you know that, right? But he got back the biggest thing he lost with spacing traps last time around, and he gained stuff on top of that. So overall, I'm feeling pretty all right about Honda here. Blanka is another character that kind of barely got changed. Stuff like forward heavy punch, the knockdowns are better now. So this used to be 18 frames advantage on hit. Now it is 20, so it's +2. And if you use it in the combo, the bonus actually increases to +5, depending on how and where you hit him in the air. They changed the old forward medium kick knees. So starting on frame 9, the hurt box is a little bit better, so we can actually start like going over like crouch medium kicks and stuff like that. They state here, reduce blowback time on a mid-air hit for the first and second attack and blowback distance. Meaning if you use it in a combo, like they're basically a lot closer than they were before. Now I am no Blanka main to be real with you here. The stuff I could find out is stuff you could do before. It was a little trickier. I guess it's easier now. Maybe that's just it. That some combo routes are just a bit more reliable, but that's really about it. So slightly better knockdowns if you use forward heavy punch at all, and I guess a little bit more consistency if you're using forward medium kick and combos, and also you can actually go over crouch medium kicks now, depending on the frames. But that's really it. Guile, another character, barely changed. So forward heavy punch gains more drive gauge on hit. That's about it. Now one fun one. Sonic Cross here, the wall splat. So the EX version, the wall splat is now longer. So if you manage to get them, they're on the wall 3 frames longer. So you might hit them with a Sonic Hurricane where you might have missed before at certain distances. But that's it. You know what? The fact that Guile is just here, tiny buff, no nerfs, that's a win for Guile, trust me. Now the evil and diabolical Ken Masters. Did he get nerfed? Yes. Realistically, these are slap on the wrist nerfs. Like, you lose stuff, yes, but like he's still very, very good. Don't get me wrong on anything. So let's just talk. One of the first things here is step kick. So step kick, if you manage to start a combo with it now, like say it hits with like a counter hit or something, right? So if it hits counter hit, you do a move follow up, the next move will it's automatically prorate. So you can see here my medium punch starts at 80%, right? Normally before patch, it would have been at 100%. So whatever combo you get off step kick, you'll still get the exact same combo. It'll just do slightly less damage. Things like his level 1 super. So his level 1 super switches sides, right? So it'll still switch sides, but the frame advantage is much less than it was before. As you can see here, it is only +9 now. Before, it was a lot better. So basically before, like you can get the level 1 super, fireball, drive rush right after, and like there's not too much the enemy could do about it. Now you got your invincible reversal and you switch sides, but you also don't get to pressure them back into the corner after the fact. That's a bit too much. Much the same. The EX Shoryuken. now is not as advantageous as it was before. It used to be 29 frames of advantage, is now 22 frames of advantage. So basically Ken is being rewarded less for getting a reversal on you. Like, the reversal should be the reward in and of itself, but Ken also got to pressure you after the fact too, right? And they determined that's a little bit too much. So the reversals are still good. He still got good ones, but no more pressure after. On that note here, back throw. Back throw in the corner pushes you further out. So here this is overlaid with the old patch. As you can see, it's not gigantic, but it is there. Ken also a recipient of the universal sweep nerf. That's about it. So he's just a little less potent on like the Oki front, I guess. But Ken still Ken. Ken still does all the Ken stuff. Like I said, to me, this is slap on the wrist. This is nothing of actual consequence. Ken is still eating good. Now for Chun Li, let's start with modern Chun Li. Now normally I don't bring up the modern stuff in these videos, but this one's significant for modern Chun Li. Modern Chun Li, when she was in stance, she didn't have all the options in stance, right? Because, you know, you have light, medium, heavy attack, and then you had 3 options. Now you actually gain all options. So what happens when you do stance? Just simply hit down and one of the attacks, and you get the other 3 moves. So now modern Chun Li has all the options out of stance. Modern Chun Li is generally held as maybe the best modern character overall, and her getting access to the full stance moveset, I think actually is a somewhat big deal. So I just want to bring that up. Now, besides that, you know, like so many characters, like small drive gauge change increases. But one that is pretty interesting, stance, medium punch, got way faster, way faster. It used to be 11 frame startup. It is now 7 frame startup. And that means something because you can now combo into it from certain counters, like the handshake, forward medium punch, right? So I can go forward medium punch stance and to slide, and it's actually combos. Much the same here, crouch medium kick, actually combos. Like, remains to be seen how actually useful this will be in a match, but it's there. And bare minimum, since it's 4 frame faster startup, not against the matches it would matter, like Guile, but against like a Shoto, you might actually be able to reaction tag someone now with the slide. We'll see, I guess. We'll see. But still, new combos where the combos didn't exist before. And speaking on that note, heavy spinning bird kick. You barely see it because it's almost impossible to combo into it. Now it's 1 frame faster, and that changes everything because now you can go into like the classic B&B and it'll combo into heavy bird kick. So that's kind of a big deal. Heavy bird kick is simply just more damage than medium bird kick, which is what you do for like 90% of combos. And now this is an option on the table. The knockdown value is ever so slightly different than medium bird kick, so it still has its uses. You do it, you dash, you walk forward, you throw them. Like, a lot of that same pressure is still the same. So you're just getting more damage in those same situations. So strict buff for Chun. Another buff for Chun, stance medium kick. So stance medium kick says knockback time on hit increased by 2 frames. It doesn't change the numbers necessarily, but what it does mean is, say you do this drive rush, right? So you do this drive rush, normally you'd go back heavy punch. Now you do this drive rush, you can go right into crouch heavy punch, which means that it does more damage, 1. But this also normalizes a lot of her combo routes. Like, depending on the combo, you had to just do this instead of going for this. Now that means you can just do that more often. You get slightly more damage. You don't have to learn multiple combos for multiple situations. It just makes your life a lot easier. So that's strong quality of life. Also buffed by someone else getting nerfed. We'll get to it when we get to Akuma. But Akuma's back walk speed got nerfed. So Chun used to have the best walk speed in the game till Akuma showed up. So now that makes her shine just a little bit more brightly as well. So overall, it's not like massive, but like Chun got stuff. Like, these are all wins for Chun. This works out pretty nicely. Now Zangief. Myself, among many others, expected Zangief to get shot. Just because people complain about him, and especially the Japanese audience, which I feel is weighed much more heavily for balance decisions. But no, we open up with a lovely little line here that says Zangief is a character that's greatly affected by the jump cancel adjustment. So while his defensive capabilities have greatly decreased, we still think he's a character strong enough to compete. So they're kind of laughing at him for singling him out for the change that we talked about at the beginning of the video, right? Besides that, like, I don't want to say he's unchanged, but like a lot of his like special normal throws now gain more meter. So that's nice. That's not nothing, but you know, that's just kind of it. Stomps, which you know, you don't see too often. Stomps now gain more drive gauge on hit. And that's it. So once again, it's really the universal change we talked about. So Zangief's ability to deal with throw loops is, well, it was removed from the game. Like, let's call it for what it is, right? So it is definitely a strict nerf overall. But if you look at the character specifically in this technically universal change, which really only affects Zangief, then by those changes, he's mostly unchanged. But yeah, Zangief at the higher levels of play, where an advanced technique like that could have saved him against throw loops, well, it can't anymore. So Dhalsim, some light changes, but nice changes at least. One, they changed like his just rapid cancel, like, you know, you mash the button that cancels into itself, like the lights, timing. So something like this: crouch, down back, light kick, crouch, light punch. Before, there was a gap where people could hit you out of that, even like their lights, right? So now the gap has been removed basically, so no more trading with Dhalsim on like basic building block pressure. I haven't talked too much about the various drive gauge changes because most of them, they're just small numbers, right? But stand heavy punch now gains almost double the amount of drive gauge it did before. So you are very much more incentivized to do this, especially if you're just looking to fish your meter back. Because on hit on block, you gain the same meter, right? So it will significantly buff your drive gauge if you manage to get a just regular heavy punch in. And not to the same extent, but down back heavy punch as well also got a nice little drive gauge boost to it. Other changes are like not really much in of themselves. Like the blowback on EX Fireball is now slightly less. This is to coincide with the fact that crouch jab can now come out quicker, which ruined an old combo, but now with this change, the combo exists again. So you can do this and it'll still work like it used to. Sure. Basically, it's mostly like bug fixes. That's really all Dhalsim got. But then again, the last patch, his changes were like crazy, so he's taking a rest this time around. Rashid is another slap on the wrist character. You would have thought he would have got the hammer, but nah. He's doing all right for himself. The fact that he only got these nerfs and nothing else, he's doing good. So, like, let's look at something like off-run punch, where he does that side switch, right? So now the big nerf here, if you want to call it that, if he does a combo follow-up now, the combo follow-up will have additional scaling. The move starts scaled if you start the combo with this. So you'll do slightly less damage, but you'll still have all the exact same combos and opportunities, just slightly less damage. Now, the one thing, I won't call this significant because it's not, but it's much like Ken. So off his EX reversal, he now has less advantage. He's only +9. So before, Rashid, if he got EX mixer off, on top of, you know, getting invincible reversal and all that, he was +25, which gave him just, you know, all the time in the world. Okay, let's set up level 2. Let's get our pressure going, like all that. He's had too much advantage for a reversal, and so much like Ken, the numbers have been toned down a bit. And finally, Super Rashid Kick, just like Ken as well, so is now +1 on hit. It used to be +11 on hit, right? So same deal. He got a side switching reversal, get out of the corner, and then he got the pressure you. No. So everything about Rashid remains good. Like, there is no change. There is no change to level 2. That's where the bread is buttered, right? So we're still good. Don't worry. Rashid remains a threat. Aki, it's mostly consistency changes. So say you get like stabby stabs off, you can now always reliably get your follow-ups after the fact, regardless of where they were on the height. It's just quality of life change to make everything easier. The only real change in note here is heavy Serpent Lash. So specifically when you trigger Toxic Blossom, that's the big poison explosion, you now, the combo count value has been changed. So you can now juggle moves that would have whiffed before. So before, this wouldn't have connected. It would just whiffed. You would not be allowed to juggle with it. Much the same here, like drive rush, stand medium punch. Would have completely just went through the enemy, would have whiffed before. So when triggering your detonation with heavy lash, you basically now have more combo opportunities. Hit the lab, see what now juggles it didn't before. But other than that, Aki has been mostly in a good place. Like, she did very well in that season 2 patch, right? So she's in the quality of life changes part of the game. Now, Ed, a lot of these top tiers, they've been scared to like give him real nerfs, right? Ed got some real nerfs. He's not Rashid. He doesn't get diplomatic immunity here. He got some nerfs of consequence. So let's start off here, crouch light kick. So crouch light kick for Ed was always really strong in that as a 5-framer, it had like the range of like a lot of other people's medium attacks. Like, it was really long range for what it was. So change number 1 is this +2 on hit now. It used to be +3. So before, if it counter hit, and it would often counter hit because it's long range and fast, it would just combo into itself. Now it can no longer combo into itself. Also, if you whiff it, the numbers don't change, but the hurt box is further forward, meaning it's easier to potentially tap him when he whiffs it. The medium kick, stand medium kick, crouch medium kick. These are also amazing buttons. They have incredible range and really control space in a way that a lot of characters is a little difficult to contest. Like, he's playing Dhalsim light here in a lot of ways. So stand medium kick, if you whiff, it has 2 more frames of recovery. And the hurt box during that recovery is also expanded forward, meaning it's just that much easier to whiff punish. So if you see Ed do it and whiff, go for it. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't expect to get that. Okay, it's worse than I thought, actually. That's not nothing. Okay. So yeah, that you can reliably snag them from pretty far away. And as for crouching medium kick, kind of same deal. So if it whiffs, just 1 more frame of recovery versus 2 for the stand version. And same deal, during that recovery for the last 2 frames, also the hurt box is expanded forward. But yeah, so stand medium punch, or rather medium kick specifically, 2 more frames of recovery. And during that recovery, 6 frames of an expanded hurt box. So when it comes to whiff punishing that bad boy, Ed better not miss. Let's put it that way. Other nerfs here, it says that kill rush backwards, that's his stance backdash here, now has an expanded hurt box as well. So if you just see him like doing the usual and trying to jump back, I guess it's slightly easier to tag him on that front. More hurt box changes here. So just flicker as it stands, just like regular old flicker. So the hurt box stands basically now until the attack goes live. So it's just a little bit easier to stuff him. One change which I actually like, it's a smart nerf. So his level 2, Ed's got one of the best level 2s and still is one of the best level 2s. What's different though is the drive gauge damage. All supers deal drive gauge damage. And now it doesn't deal less drive gauge damage, but it deals it all on the final hit. Versus before, it would just kind of, every hit would do a couple points. And it would still be 1 bar in the end, but now it's only 1 bar on the final hit. And why is this a nerf at all, right? If it's the same overall drive gauge damage. Basically, when you had the level 2 going, right, every hit dealt a little bit of damage to the drive gauge, and thus it would immediately end any regeneration for the opponent's drive gauge meter. Now, because of the way it works here, and only the last hit deals anything, the opponent will gain just a little bit of drive gauge while being hit before they lose it, right? So it's effectively more drive gauge for the opponent. The combos will still be the combos. Nothing about the combos is changing. They'll still be elaborate and weird. But on some of the crazier combos, the opponent will at least get some drive gauge meter back while they're being ping-ponged across the screen. And on that front, EX machine gun punches into level 2 is like the Ed bread and butter, right? So to help Ed be a little less random, EX Psycho Blitz is now -4 on block and with less pushback too. So it is now punishable on block. So if you're just going like, just hoping you get it, and if you get it, you get that level 2 combo, win the game, right? Now, you better not get blocked. Now, there is a buff. It actually moves a little bit further forward now, but has a little bit of range it didn't have before. But yeah, don't get blocked or you're going to get blown up. So a lot of the more annoying aspects of Ed have now been curtailed to a degree one way or another. So that is definitely nerfs. So Akuma also got several nerfs, one of which is the walk speed. Akuma, very fast character, and his back walk speed was nerfed. So I'm going to do an overlay here. We're going to do a back walk with the current patch, and we're going to compare it to a back walk of the old patch. As you can see here, it's not gigantic, but the new patch Akuma is a bit slower than the old patch Akuma. And fair enough, back walk really strong. Back and forth, that's what Street Fighter is. Akuma was exceptional at it. And so that aspect turned down just a little bit. Another aspect of Akuma that's getting some tuning is his fireball. So he remains a very powerful projectile user. That will not change. But it says here, expanded the hurt box forward after attack startup. So if you're unaware, Akuma compared to like Ken or Ryu or whatever, he did not have a hurt box at all on his hands. Meaning, it was literally just more difficult to hit him while he was doing fireballs because there was nothing there to hit. So now, well, we don't have access to hitboxes in this early stage, but I'm assuming they added a hitbox on his hands like Ryu or Ken. That's what I think that's saying. So the fireball is still fast. It has very fast startup. The frames are really good, but it'll be just slightly more easy to deal with say, anti-fireball moves, or even just perhaps stuffing with buttons on the startup of the move. Other nerfs here, EX Go Shoryu now does normal reversal damage. So before, Akuma was just in his own class. His reversal was literally the most damaging reversal in the game. Now it does 1700, so it's more in line with the other characters, versus it was 1900 before, and, well, he just had the most damaging reversal. That was really all there was to it. Now it's like everyone else. Forward medium kick, that is his very powerful poke move, much like other dominant pokes, just slight whiff punish nerfs. So if you whiff the move, it used to take 30 frames, now it's 31 frames, so it's just one more frame. And on frame 30 and 31, the hurt box is expanded a bit forward. So if you catch him whiffing, it'll be easier to deal with. Now I'm not going to say it's going to be easy to deal with, because it won't be. It's only one frame and a slightly expanded hurt box, but it was very difficult to whiff punish before. Now it's hopefully theoretically possible. And the other change is the demon flip. So demon flip is very strong. Chop, dive kicks. You have the fake demon flip and then I throw you and all that. And that is specifically what's being changed. So if you go for fake demon flip, like the normal version as it stands, nothing actually changes. But if you cross up and do fake demon flip, then it adds 5 more frames of recovery. Everything about demon flip is already so strong without having to worry about like left-right mix on top of that. So generally, if you actually hit with the cross-up and then cancel out with the cross-up, whatever you're going to hit takes 5 frames longer to come out than it would have before if you were same side. So basically, the gimmicks of side switching on Demon Flip is now slightly worse. Don't get me wrong, I'll still get caught by that stuff every single time. But theoretically, if you call it out for what it is, you can definitely just stop them, because 5 more frames of landing recovery is, I would say, pretty significant. It's not nothing. And other things like EX Tatsu has 1 more frame of knockdown. They're saying specifically, it's like if you whiff DP, then you don't get blown. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, these are not big nerfs, like realistically. They're nerfs, yes, but they're not big nerfs. Akuma ain't moving down to bottom tier with Lily or anything like that, right? I would also basically just say mostly slap on the wrist stuff. The core Akuma game plan is still absolutely the core Akuma game plan, and as such, he will remain a threat. Bison, another character that's nerfed, but is he really? Like, he still gets to do everything he does, just a little less. Like, say, drive gauge damage. He's always been fantastic at it. So, back heavy kick used to do this much, and, well, definitely not that much anymore. The drive gauge damage is a lot less scary. Much the same, EX Psycho Crusher used to do a full bar, right? Just by itself, even before even like bomb and all that. Used to do a full bar, and that was terrifying. Now, there's about half a bar. So, like, Bison just burning you out, and you can't really fight back against it. that's going to happen less. Not going to say it's not going to happen because Street Fighter 6, right? But just Bison just tearing down your defenses for free, that is not going to be as powerful. Other things like damage scaling. Damage scaling is a bit different now. So if you use EX, knee press, and any given combo, whatever you're going to do now, it already scaled a little bit, but it'll now scale even harder than it did before. It's now 20% scaling instead of 10% scaling. So none of those combos change. They all still work, but they'll just do slightly less damage. Speaking of slightly less damage. So bomb is up, you land Crusher, EX Crusher, right? Boom. You still get all the same combos you did. It's still going to hurt like crazy, but the initial hit's what really kills a lot of characters, right? So the initial hit before any scaling would be 2,000. Now it's going to be 1,600. So everything combo-wise will still exist as it did before, but hopefully Bison doesn't like go like light, bomb, and then next hit kills you. Hopefully, ideally, you should survive that next crazy combo. Like, it'll still hurt like hell, but it won't do as much upfront damage. And for Shadow's Rise and Devil's Reverse, there is now more hurtbox stuff going on, specifically just Shadow's Rise by itself. The feet now have hurtboxes, although those new hurtboxes are immune to projectiles, FYI. And as for just the actual Devil's Reverse, it is now more manageable. So it states specifically from frame 9 onwards until Bison lands, the hurtbox around him is basically expanded sideways, so his wider hurtbox. And while the attack itself is actually live, the hurtbox around his arms is also expanded sideways and downwards. So for some characters, anti-airing it becomes actually quite easy, right? But that is very character dependent. You know, you relive the Street Fighter 5 days of jab anti-airs. You got to play around with it character to character. Like, I mess around with Honda. It's still mostly the same for Honda. But theoretically, everything is easier to deal with if you actually can properly react to it. So basically, Bison will do overall a bit less damage. Not a lot less damage, but a bit less damage. And he's less likely just to burn you out just doing the basic game plan. But still, that basic game plan hasn't actually changed. And it was very effective before. Or maybe you dull some of the edge on it, but it's still going to remain very effective now. And finally, we arrive at Terry Bogard. So, change number 1, Stand Heavy Punch, is now plus on block. It was -1 on block, and I love this move at -1 on block to begin with, because it's multi-hitting, hit confirmable, and only -1. Like, I'm like, awesome. Now +1? Sure, great. So now they block this. You know, stand, light kick, all that. Like, you can still check them. Like, you still have a plus frame in range with a light attack. You gotta make them respect it. Also, the input buffer has been changed. So the input buffer is 2 frames, literally making it that much easier to hit confirm. So it is now advantage on block, easier to hit confirm into a special move if you see it connect. There's a lot to love there. Crouch medium punch specifically pushes back less. So the idea here is if you had like a punish counter combo and you go into shoulder, there was some ranges like the extreme range where you could get the punish counter and you would still drop the combo because shoulders took too long to get there. So they push back less, meaning on regular style combos, you'll always get the shoulder for sure. And for regular combos, it just means it's like you have slightly further range. You can successfully get like stand light kick off. It's still +5, right? But with less pushback, you can hit just a little bit better. So his power dunk here, the power dunk combo. So if you've seen other coverage on the channel, you may know that there's actually a sweet spot on this move. So there's a screen shake, but they also added a sound effect if you get it. So of course, as you can see right there, you know, 1,800 damage in total versus 1,640 if you didn't get it. So if you got it, great. If not, not the end of the world. But if you got it now, on top of the visual tell, there's a little bit of an audio tell. Medium power wave, it's a change. It's hard to test, honestly. But basically, as the move goes live, your hurt box doesn't expand till frame 18 rather than frame 16. So in practice, it's just a little bit harder to hit Terry as the move starts. Now here's a move where it's very easy to tell the change. Round wave. This is Power Wave, the heavy version, the big boy explosion. So one, it does way more drive gauge damage. Before it did like half a bar, now it does like 75% of a bar. So you cannot afford to block more than a couple of these because you are losing too much drive gauge to it. That also said, the move is faster. So it used to be 53 frames in total. It is now 51 frames in total. So that's pretty all right. And this changes stuff. This actually gives you new combo routes that you did not have before. So say I get you with that crouch, medium punch, heavy shoulder we talked about, right? There is now combo ability in certain situations because you effectively recover faster, right? So let's show you an example. There you go. Skinnier teeth, but you can get it now, right? And of course, just to put it out there, with many things with the shoulder, it is very timing based. You can't do it too early. You can't do it too late. If you do it too late, you can still get round wave, but then they're not juggled high enough, all that kind of stuff. So there's a strict element of timing there, but it is doable. Now that said, let's move to the corner. The corner, we don't got to worry about it. We actually have a new combo that was not possible before, and it's automatic timing. So same idea here, shoulder. We'll just cancel into it immediately this time. And now medium shoulder connects. It did not connect before. Before, that would have whiffed. So that means now we also get a rising tackle after the fact, right? So more combo ability, combos that were not possible before, thanks to round wave just concluding faster. Once again, that's only 2 frames, but in fighting games, every frame matters. As far as the crack shoots go, specifically medium crack shoot, interesting change. So now if it connects on a regular hit, it is now 3 frames of advantage. Okay. But if it hits as a counter hit, it now splats. So it did always splat before as a punish counter. So the medium one now splats on counter hit or punish counter. There's a couple of things here where it says like overdrive, crack shoot, EX crack shoot, EX burn knuckle. They changed some of the blowback properties. It looks the same to me, but as per the notes, I guess it just makes it easier to connect, like say a super follow-up level 2 or a combo follow-up where it might have dropped before. I'll take their word for it. Much the same here, level 2 has a new hitbox that is only if it is a combo, not done as a raw move, to help just situations where moves might miss. And again, a good quality of life for Terry. Like, round wave is much better. We got some new combo opportunities. We got things change up so old combo opportunities are more reliable. There's a lot to like here. And that is the video. So I remember someone saying this was going to be a small patch. This was not a small patch. This video is almost certainly an hour long, if not more. So interesting, good. I like this patch. There's a lot of good things here. It is mostly positive. The people who did get hit a little bit, it's mostly, like, I would say very fair. So some characters got some big stuff. Like I think Ryu got some really big stuff. I think Marisa got some really big stuff. Some characters like Ed got brought down to earth a little bit. Some characters could have stood to be brought down a little bit more than it was. But it is what it is, isn't it, right? But overall, fun patch, good patch. I think it's good for the health of the game. Certain characters that were just struggling. Like I think Honda, like I don't want to oversell him because I'm not neutral when it comes to Honda, right? But I like these changes. It'll help. But then again, someone like Lily is gonna remain at the bottom. Unless I miss something gigantic, there just isn't enough here for poor old Lily. But still, that's personal gripes. I think this is a good patch overall. And if you haven't already, hey, leave a like on the video. It really helps. And looking forward to what's to come for Street Fighter 6. Obviously, we have my soon-ish, hopefully in the next couple months. And then, well, Season 3. Will Season 3 rename the game Super Street Fighter 6? I think it might. We'll get there. We'll get there. But for now, that's the video, my friends. That's everything. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. And go out and play some Street Fighter.
This is the love we